Hey guys, after our last video, some of you said that you'd like a more detailed analysis, so this time we'll try to dive in a bit deeper while taking a look at the early game of the Azir vs Cassiopeia matchup played by Comeback in Grandmaster Challenger EU West. If you would like to contribute to the growth of our channel, or you've got any feedback, join our Discord server using the link in the description, be a part of our community and share your thoughts. Enough with introductions, let's get started. When it comes to the setup, our Azir went with a combination of precision and domination, choosing little tempo for the keystone. Although other players may prefer Arcane Comet as their keystone for the laning phase poke power, the little tempo is vastly superior in the mid and late game teamfights in terms of DPS. The domination choice, with Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter, ensures more sustain throughout the game, especially later on. In comparison, the sorcery path would provide increased cooldown reduction from Transcendence. In both setups, Presence of Mind is an essential rune which makes sure Azir won't run out of mana while also allowing him to itemize for more damage without needing to purchase an early Lost Chapter. As for Cassiopeia, she chose Phase Rush. This gives her the ability to kite around Azir's soldier range while also having enough mobility to chase him in case he would use Shifting Sands to get away. Factoring in the team comp shows up against in this particular game, I'd say that's a great choice. In this matchup, the scaling power goes in the favor of Azir. He also has the early game priority because of his consistent amount of damage. In order for him to win the matchup, he needs to keep a soldier spawned in the range of the wave and, because he has higher range, always poke Cassiopeia with a basic attack and Conquering Sands whenever she tries to walk up and farm. When Cassio would try to engage with the Noxious Blast, Azir needs to walk away. As long as he doesn't take fights in which he's under the poison effect, he will always come up on top. He starts the game by taking a defensive position, covering the river entrance while also making sure to be nearby Karma in case she gets caught when placing her ward on the enemy red buff. As soon as the wave reaches the middle, Azir walks up, places a forward soldier and auto-attacks the wave in order to get priority. He can do this with ease because of the fact that he knows Wukong's starting position due to the ward that was placed before. The second soldier is casted for the same reason, to push the wave even faster and maintain the priority. After killing the whole minion wave, Comeback is playing aggressive, placing another soldier forward to try and deny Cassio some CS on their tower. He can afford to do this because he knows Wukong patted towards the top side of the jungle and he's ungankable right now. With the wave already pushed in and the knowledge of the enemy jungler, he goes and places a ward in the topside pixel brush. This ward is not bad, but it's slightly early. In an ideal situation, he would have shoved in another wave and ward after that. After coming back in lane, he stays in the top side because that's where his vision coverage is. If a gank were to happen, Azir can back off before Wukong would be in range. Our protagonist notices the position of the wave and the health of the minions, so he decides to prepare a slow push towards him by only last-hitting the enemy creeps. The wave is too big, so he has to start trimming. Trimming the wave is the action of lowering the minion count while maintaining enough for the chosen action to happen. In other words, he'll kill a few while keeping some of them alive to continue the slow push. A jungle skirmish breaks out at the bottom scuttler. Comeback starts heading there but instantly backs off when he realizes Sejuani is too low HP to do anything. She does end up getting away at the cost of her flash. Nothing is happening in mid and without knowing where Wukong went after that scuttler, Azir cannot fight Cassio. He looks around the map, notices that Sion is proxying in the top lane and bot lane got ganked. The wave is in a good position and Azir sees that Sejuani turned around after killing the scuttler, so he tries to set up for the gank. He starts hovering the bot side of the lane so that Cassio will mirror his movement and be closer to the top side where Sejuani will come from. She doesn't fall for the trick, but does step forward to try and trade. When she's in range, Comeback doesn't hesitate and instantly goes in. Sejuani joins the fight and Cassiopeia has to flash to get out. When the action is over, Azir hard shoves the wave and gets a good reset. The next wave will slow push towards him. After you hard shove a wave on their tower, the enemy minions will stack and your minions will still come in a straight line. This means all the enemy minions will focus the first minion that arrives from your wave, killing it faster and creating a numbers advantage, thus slow pushing towards you. When getting in lane, Comeback tried to cancel Cassio's recall to delay her even more, but he couldn't find her as she already finished it by the time he got there. That being said, she still needs to use her teleport to get back to mid without losing too much CS, as the wave would be frozen. This grants Azir teleport advantage. Sejuani sees the enemy teleport casted in the middle of the lane and takes advantage of this opportunity, knowing Cassiopeia's flash is still on cooldown. Comeback does a nice job at baiting her in, then he instantly re-engages as soon as the poison wears off. The fight is pretty close, he chooses to flash the Noxious Blast to not give her the poison-empowered ease and the healing. Better safe than sorry. When the action is over, Sejuani sticks around to help Azir shove the wave faster while making sure to not kill the minions, giving him a better recall timer. As he's walking back to lane, he looks at the minimap, notices Wukong in a bot side river and makes sure to ping several times to let his bot lane know. Once in lane, he doesn't push the wave to avoid getting ganked, but he does still poke the enemy whenever he has the chance to do so. If the enemy laner goes into the fog of war for more than a couple of seconds, make sure to instantly ping that he's missing, letting your team know he might be roaming or warding. Because Cassiopeia has no flash, she plays far back, giving away CS to not get poked down by Azir or ganked by Sejuani. The reason Comeback plays towards the top side of the lane is because he knows Wukong is bot side. As soon as he hears the Drake got killed, he notices Cassio walking up and instantly backs away, knowing about the gank. A good ultimate shoves Wukong into the tower, and due to his positioning he has an easy way out, spawning a soldier over the wall and using shifting sands to dash to safety. Karma steals the kill and Azir seems pretty pissed about it, given the fact that she did absolutely nothing there. Going back in lane, he notices that Sejuani is doing the herald, so he tries to get priority in mid. After pushing the wave, he wants to ward, but when he sees the scrying plant used by Wukong, he decides to stay and help with the incoming fight. Wukong steals the herald but dies in the process, giving the kill credit to Azir. Both Fiora and Cassiopeia collapse down this fight, and Comeback knows he is dead, so he pings his jungler to run away. Comeback teleports on the mid tower as soon as he respawns to avoid losing CS. After getting to lane, he uses the increased movement speed provided by the teleport to also cancel Cassio's recall. Once he cleared the wave, he goes and gets his blue buff. Then he returns into the lane and pushes the next wave, while also making sure to stop Cassiopeia's recall once more. The next wave comes and he decides to meet it, starting to push as soon as the minions get into his range. After killing the wave, he could go and take the raptors, but he chose to hover around the bot side of the lane and stop Cassio from roaming. He did deal some damage, but he couldn't stop her. They both run towards bot, but as soon as Azir sees Fiora being there, he knows he'll be late, so he chooses to go back to mid and shove his wave. After pushing the wave, he hits the tower, taking the first plate. At this point he has perma priority because he's stronger than Cassiopeia in the 1v1, so he keeps pushing, punishing Cassio whenever she's in range and maintaining the pressure in mid, while chipping the tower one basic at a time. He pans the camera and sees that the next wave is a cannon wave. Sejuani pings Wukong's position, as he rotates but the enemy jungler is out by the time he would get there. On his way out he found a contour ward in the brush and he takes that before pushing in the next wave. After pushing he thinks about recalling because he's got a lot of gold on him, but it's too late for that as the next wave is almost inbound and Cassio can instantly push it. He cancels his recall and drops a nice ward in the mid lane to see the enemy mid laner's rotations. At this point the laning phase is over and so is today's analysis. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing and you'll be notified when the part 2 comes out. Thank you for watching, stay safe.